Today, let's learn why learning irregular verbs is so important to help you progress in French. But what is an irregular verb? French verbs can be separated into three groups. We separate them based on the endings of their infinitive form. So, we have the ER verbs such as marcher, to walk, parler, to talk. These ER verbs are known as regular verbs, as when they are conjugated, they follow the same pattern, which makes it easy. As part of the regular verbs, we also have the IR verbs, verbs such as finir, to finish, for example. And then there is the rest. And by rest, I mean irregular verbs. They either end in their infinitive form with RE, such as comprendre, to understand, or OIR, such as vouloir, to want, or even IR, such as dormir, or OIRE, such as boire, to drink, and dormir being to sleep. The problem with irregular verbs is that some of them kind of follow a pattern, but some really don't. It kind of quickly becomes a nightmare. What I would like to do now is show you two verbs side by side, one from the regular group and one from the irregular group. Let's look at parler, to talk, and boire, to drink. Parler is from the first group. As you can see, it ends in ER, and boire is from the irregular group. Look how very different the verbs are when conjugated in different tenses. Have a look at this. In the present tense, if we wanted to conjugate parler, we would say je parle. So we follow a pattern. We got rid of the R, and for je, we add E. And for boire, which is a highly irregular, we can't do that. So have a look at the present tense of boire. Je bois. I drink. Now let's have a look at these two verbs again in the future tense. For parler, we want to say I will talk. We would say je parlerai. Okay. The ending for the future tense is always AI. For the first regular verbs, okay, the ER verb, it's quite simple. You keep the verb in its infinitive form and you add AI. However, you cannot do that for irregular verbs, such as boire. For boire, we say je boirai. That's the future of I will drink, of course. So what we've done here, we have got rid of the E and we have added the AI ending of the future tense. Now let's have a look at the imparfait ending. So we want to say I used to talk and I used to drink. Have a look at parler. Je parlais. Okay, quite simple. We have got rid of the ER and we have adding those special imperfect ending, which is AIS for je. Je parlais, I used to talk, or I was talking as well. However, and this is where it becomes really complicated for irregular verb, boire, to drink, in its imperfect form becomes bu. Je buvais. Do you see that? I used to drink and I was drinking. And this is what I mean by highly irregular verbs. That means suddenly we have changed the spelling and the word itself. It's no longer boire, but it's buve. Je buvais. So parler is easy as long as you know what endings you need. You know, it follows the same pattern. Now let's focus on the passé composé because that's where it becomes really interesting. Parler, still regular verb, becomes in the passé composé j'ai parlé. Parler, E accent. Okay, quite simple. For all ER verb, you're going to have the same past participle. You drop the R and you put an accent on top of the E. J'ai parlé, I spoke, I talked, or I have talked, okay? But in the passé composé for boire, it becomes j'ai bu. J'ai bu. Now here, you can see how totally different the irregular verb is from its infinitive form comparing to the regular one. So you can take any ER regular verb and use the same pattern and it will be accurate. However, take an irregular verb such as boire, then it's another story. Look at its past participle, bu. How very different is it from its infinitive, boire? The past participle of a verb is used in compound tenses. Sorry, I can't say that properly. So they are very important to learn. Now remember that the passé composé is not the only compound tense there is in French. We would use the past participle in tenses such as pluperfect or the conditional perfect, for example, etc., etc. So what is my point? My point is that unless you learn those main irregular verbs by heart, you won't know what to do, as it is all very random. Now, a lot of irregular verbs will also end in U in its past participle form, but A, it's not always the case, and B, stem will vary a lot, such as boire becomes bu. For example, you have croire, which means to believe. It will become, in the passé composé, j'ai cru, I have believed or I believed. Or even have a look at this one, recevoir, to receive. What do you think it becomes in its past participle form? Reçu. Yeah, my point. Unless you know them by heart, you will not be able to guess what they are. Let's see if you can find the infinitive of these verbs. So what I'm going to do is give you the verbs in their passé composé form, and I would like you to try to guess what the actual infinitive verb is. Now remember, the infinitive verb is a verb that is untouched, okay? A verb that it is in its pure form and has not been yet conjugated. Have a look at this. Il a atteint. He has reached. Atteint being the past participle. But what do you think the infinitive of that past participle is? It is atteindre, to reach, okay? Let's have a look at this one. J'ai cru. Now we've seen that in one of the examples just a minute ago. That's right. J'ai cru is I believed. What was the infinitive of that verb? Croire. To believe. Can you see how very different it is? And this is why they are called irregular verbs. Have a look at this one. Tu as écrit. You have written or you wrote. What is the infinitive of the past participle écrit? It is écrire. Well done. Écrire. Bravo. To write. And to finish, ils ont suivi. They have followed. And the infinitive verb is suivre. Well done. So as you can see, it varies a lot. And once again, to be able to conjugate compound tenses properly, there is no way around it. You need to learn your irregular past participles. Now, you know me, I am always trying to make it easier for you guys. So I have compiled a list of the most used irregular verbs in French in my free ebook. All you have to do is click on the link in the description below in order to download it for free. So have a go at learning the main irregular verbs, and this should become second nature to you. I hope this video helps you understand the importance of learning irregular French verbs. And if you want more help with it, have a look at this video here. That's it for me. Au revoir, à bientôt. Bisous bisous.